Welcome to the Complete Game Podcast, where we're all about baseball with Ethan Dungan, owner of Glovehound Baseball Glove Repair Shop, Rick Finley, founder of MD&I Baseball Academy, and the creator of George Foster Baseball, the MVP himself, Reds Hall of Famer George Foster. I'm your host, Greg Dungan. Now let's talk baseball. All right, welcome back, episode 17. And we're all here, and Rick is here 2 and 3 times.
Right. Yes. And
rev it up.
Charged up.
Charged.
Well, it's glad to see everybody back, and looking forward to a good discussion. Today we're talking about playing in the postseason, and it's something that you know, some guys never get to do it, and it's a big deal. So anyway, we're gonna start off today by talking about 5 things that teams must have to get to the postseason. So, Ethan, why don't you kick us off? What are 5 things that a team must have to get to the postseason?
My son goes first.
Man, the first thing, I think it has to be mindset. It has to be the goal to be there in the first place. Sometimes you see some of these teams, and it's especially when you get to these lower market teams that aren't in contention, and you hear guys talk about it. I've heard a lot of guys talk about like the Marlins in specific. Pros that are done playing. Guys are just there to be there. They're not there to compete. And so it's just a very different expectation that you have in a big market like New York or LA, where they're expecting to win every time. The whole team has to have that same mindset.
Yeah, I agree. George, what do you think?
I agree with that, because when I had gone from the Reds to the Mets, I thought everybody during spring training are getting themselves prepared physically, mentally, for a winning season. But a lot of guys are just there. It's like in a holding pattern, and hoping to get to another team, and some are just there to hold on, play a few more years. But you got to have that mindset, like Ethan was saying. You have to have the talent. The other part, you have to have the talent to do it, and experience goes along with that talent. Because with the Reds, you had a good nucleus there. You had a Rose, you had a bench, Perez. So now you can build around that. And Bob Howden, to me, was the best as the general manager putting a team together. And we had speed, power, speed. So sometimes you can have too much power. So back with the Braves, you had 3 guys that hit 40 or more home runs in the lineup, but they weren't winning. So, and there was guys that, look at the ratio of home runs to RBIs. Is that guy hitting home runs with men on base or hitting solo home runs? Mm-hmm. So it makes a big difference. So having that experience and having that talent is very important.
I have a question, though. Today it seems like, the Reds just did this too. Like, you get to right before that trade deadline, and people are trying to bring in whatever talent they don't have, with trades and that kind of thing, free agency, whatever, and trying to load up with that extra talent toward the end of the year. When you talk about 75, 76, 77, those guys, we know about those of you who were there putting in the work, doing the thing, but did they make moves and bring in anybody in the middle of the year on those teams?
The ones we would bring in, it's more of a pinch hitter, a pitcher. The starting lineup, you had guys. I remember back, someone was talking about where would Votto be in that lineup. He said he wouldn't play. He couldn't play. So, but that starting 8, they were solid.
Yeah.
So another key to it, maybe Rick, I may be taking it from Rick, but winning team had to have a strong bench.
Yes.
So you have to have guys to come in, not only pinch hit, but give a guy a day of rest or so. That one day make a big difference.
Yeah, we talked about Dan Dreesen being that.
With Dreesen,
Dreesen.
And Doug Flynn, he would, like on Sundays, Joe Morgan wouldn't play on Sundays, but Doug came in and did a quality job. Bill Plummer behind Johnny. So it's important to have that strong bench.
Cool. Rick, what you got?
Well, a couple of you guys went over leadership, manager, that's GM and manager being on the same just having a philosophy, but I would add pitching depth. Got to have some pitching depth, okay? Someone that gets injured, or your bullpen has to be, have some good bullpen depth, guys that are probably only going to be one or two, or your closer and stuff. So pitching depth, you got to have guys that can throw strikes. So.
Yeah, that rubber arm, like Pedro Bourbon had a rubber arm. He could pitch every day.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the things that I see in a team that makes it to the postseason is consistency. Like you've just played, better than 160 games. Were you consistent in your performance, or are you expecting that people are just going to heat up in the last month or two of the season? That's rarely going to happen. I mean, there are only so many Reggie Jacksons in the world. I mean, the idea that somebody's just going to, out of nowhere, start producing things that they haven't been producing all year long is very, very unlikely. So you're more likely to reach that postseason if you've been steadily producing all year long. Ethan, you were talking right before the show about how Rose didn't get quite the same recognition because of his consistency of base hitting rather than his lack of slugging. And but yet it was that consistency over all of his career that led him to, over 4,000 hits. So, is your team are your pitchers consistently having good outings? Are your batters consistently hitting and moving runners, getting on base, moving people around, doing that kind of thing? Or have you just been lucky enough to win a certain percentage of your games with home runs and slugging? And if that's the case, you're not going to slug your way into the postseason. That's just probably not going to happen.
But low scoring games is indicative of it's a team play. Because being able to manufacture runs. You go out there, say if Joe Morgan gets on base, he's still second or then still third, and yes, George Foster drives him in, so it's 1-0. We end up winning the game. But some guys, he gets on first base and he doesn't try to steal, and the guy trying to hit home runs instead of getting a base hit, and it's like next man up, keep going, because we would be down in the bottom of the ninth, and that one base hit, because the mindset of the other team is like, oh, no, here it's coming. I remember we were playing the Phillies in the playoff. I think it was 76 or so. They actually had 4 guys warming up in the bullpen. It's like, you can't pitch a ball at once.
That's funny.
I will say this, because having pitching depth, you're going to have injuries. So, George, talking about how pitching was then to now, because before we talked about
the biggest difference is the starters going longer.
There we go.
Because their expectation, back to what Ethan said, is the mindset. If I can go 5, I can go 5. But these guys, they wanted to go. They really wanted to finish the game, but at least go on a quality 7 or 8 innings, and so it takes pressure off that bullpen. So when a guy goes out there, he's not saying 90 pitches or whatever it takes. I remember, I think in the World Series 75 with the Red Sox, I think Tion had over 200 pitches in the game.
Crazy, unheard of.
That is.
Yeah, they'd lose their minds over a stat like that these days.
Well, my next one kind of goes hand in hand with both of those, and it's longevity or stamina. Because going into the postseason, you could play 20 or more really intense games. That's different than an early game in the spring where maybe you don't even play the whole game and you're just trying to keep fresh. But you have to be able to play that full 162. Well, spring training 162, and then more for playoffs. And let me ask you this: how much more does the intensity of that game drain you as a player?
Well, as far as I would you need more energy. It wasn't draining, but it gives you more energy. But you got to get your body prepared for that. And once in spring training, it's important to get your mind, your body ready for that long run. Because before the playoffs start, you play close to 200 games. Because in spring training, it's at least 30 or more games. Because they're looking to make money in spring training. Before, you just train to get yourself ready. But these guys, sometimes I think they start too early. But they want to make the monies. So it can be draining if you haven't been there before. And because guys are not prepared for the long run. And then that intensity, being able to have that intensity day in and day out. Not say, we'll play well the first 2 or 3 games, and then we go out there and give it up, or so to speak. Like back in tennis, I remember Djokovic was 2 up on Fritz, and so now his strategy is get 2 up on Fritz because Fritz has a good serve, but he laid off that third set because I know it's going to go 5. I mean, it has to go. If it goes 5, I got to be prepared. But if he would go too hard on that third set, he may not be ready for it.
Yeah.
But with Pete Rose, he said, don't give a net bat up. I see guys giving that bats up.
They do.
And like the Reds the other day had 5-0, and they figure we got it. No. You have teams like Toronto, they're going to come at you. They're not going to just lay down.
Yeah. Yes.
Another one that I had to go in there was you got to have team unity, right? You got to be together of one mind. I mean, the number of times, George, that you've talked about how when the team is truly functioning well, it functions as one organism on the field, but it also has to
the engine just purrs.
Have that mindset off the field as well. You got to be picking up your teammates. You got to be looking out for each other.
You got to get your rest.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You can't have any Red Bull, things like that.
No, man.
All that
make
intensity.
your chest pop out.
Man. You think you're going faster than you really are. You're in the same place. But the other one that stands out is they really specialize. So now in a series, so they're not going to pitch to a certain guy.
Right.
So now they were like Judge. You walk him. Okay, let's go to the next guy. But during the season, they may pitch to him, and he's going to hit the ball a mile out of Yellowstone. But in the playoffs, you don't walk him because, like Ethan was saying, most of the game's going to be low scoring.
Yeah.
So his at bat is going to be important. So you got to let him hit or not hit.
Yeah. So I mean, having that strategy intact and knowing exactly how you're going to attack it, and having your team together, really, I remember watching a thing on the 90 Reds that went wire to wire, and the incredible unity that they had going on inside, everybody pulling for everybody else. I imagine it was much like that when you were doing it. I don't see how you get to the postseason and survive it if you don't have that.
Right.
You can't have somebody looking out for themselves.
No, it's an individual commitment for a group effort. And I watched not only the Reds but other teams as far as they complain that they're not winning or not scoring runs. But like the Yankees, they think they need to score 8 or 9 runs because they don't trust their bullpen. But you find at the end of the game, they lose by 1 or 2 runs because they didn't situational hitting or situational play. I see so many guys that don't know where to throw the ball. They don't know when you're on base. When they tag up their guys on second base, a ground ball's hit to the left side, they're running to the third. So where's this guy going?
Exactly. Running into an out.
Running into an out, and then I watch and see when he go back to the dugout. When we played, if we did something incorrectly, we have a coach at the step letting you know letting you know what you didn't do and correct it. But nowadays, he just go back and put his bat and sit down. But we're still intense watching what we need to do to what we're going to contribute to the game that's going to be productive.
Okay, so does anybody else have anything more for Name 5 before we move on?
I'm pretty much out.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, bud.
Pete Rose made sure that we always were prepared.
Okay.
Preparation.
For the preparation for the pitchers, the rotation. You think that, well, what's the big difference about the rotation? But your mind is like a computer, so you start to compute. What did he throw you before? What is his repertoire?
Right.
So you're prepared when you go up there. And I always go on the bench and watch the opposing pitcher warm up, because you're going to want to watch his release point and make sure it's the same. Because I remember one guy, he was in the bullpen, he threw overhand majority of the time, but this time he was practicing throwing sidearm. So when you don't want to see it the first time at bat.
I see.
So I got a chance to see it in the bullpen. But it's also just reviewing. Make sure that you see in the release point. Like Sutcliffe, he had that hesitation in his mechanics. So he would jump at you, but his arm is still back. And a lot of guys move at that certain point. They had that big overhead curveball. But it's like, it's a dance or choreography. You got to have that timing. And you don't want to wait till the game starts for that to see it.
So you finished the season last year, exhausted from all the travel and the tournaments, and you tossed your gear in a bag where it's been sitting all winter. Now you're ready for another year, but your favorite glove that fits just right is an error waiting to happen. The leather's dry, the laces are brittle, and this year you're on a new team with new colors, and it sure would be cool if it matched. Well, wouldn't it be great if you had a glove guy who could help you out with that? You do. His name is Ethan, and he owns Glovehound Baseball Glove Repair Shop in Fairfield, Ohio. Just contact him at glovehound.com and upload pictures of your glove. He'll give you a call back to talk it over, and then you can send it in for a repair, relace, recondition, whatever you need. If you're in the area, you can even just stop by the shop. That way you don't have to bother with shipping, and a lot of times he can even fix it while you wait. Rawlings, Wilson, Mizuno, All-Star, Nakona, he's seen them all, and he's helped players at all levels, from beginners to pros. Last year he worked on a glove that Jose Trevino used in the World Series, and he can help you too. You can find Glovehound on Google, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at glovehound.com. You're only going to get busier, so reach out today and give your glove the love it deserves at Glovehound. Okay, so what I want to talk about now is how is postseason different, the play different from regular season play? There has to be a different feeling in the locker room ahead of time, a different satisfaction or dissatisfaction after the game than there is in a normal, regular season game. I don't know, George, orient me there.
Well, the team that's going to win is going to make the fewest mistakes out there mentally and physically, because they have one game playoffs, and that's a lot of intensity that's involved. But the manager, so now everybody's on board. I don't care who pitched before, everybody's on board. And you don't know who's going to call that. The guy who may start the next game, if you win, may have to come into this game. Mm-hmm. So you really got to shuffle I think the pitching staff is the one that you really have to shuffle a lot. And I remember, I think it was 72 Baltimore Orioles, against the Pirates. They had 4 20-game winners. So they had to decide on who's going to be in the rotation, who's going to go to the bullpen.
Yeah, right.
And because you're not going to, like say, have that long series, so you're not going to utilize all of those guys as for starters. So deciding on that and how long you're going to have that guy out there, because you got to say, okay, I'm going to limit that guy to 2 or 3 runs, and I'm going to take him out. Mm-hmm. So you got to be. Sparky was great at that, having that I guess intuition, knowing that okay, it's time to make that change. But I think the biggest difference is the rotation, the pitching rotation, especially when you have a 1-game series and even with like say the World Series, because it's consistent from when we play until now, it's going to be 2-3-2 as far as the games you play. Yes. You want to be able to play 3 in your city, but then again you end up in their city like we did in 76. So the fact is you want to get started early, because it's 7 games. And you got to make every game, every pitch is very important. So put value on every at-bat, every game, because they don't assume, well, we'll win next game. Because when we lost the game against the Red Sox 6-0 that first game, like, whoa, we had to wake up that these guys don't respect us. We got to go out there. We assume that, we're the big red machine, and they're going to be intimidated. But no. So we came back and won the next game, I think, either 3-2 or 2-1. But 5 games were only settled by 1 run. Yeah. And so every run really was important.
Talk a little bit about, you mentioned a minute ago about the decision of when to pull a pitcher. Nowadays, everything is about pitch count. But back then, they were maybe making the decision with regard to how many runs or how what was the driving statistic that made somebody say I need to maybe pull this guy or I need to leave him in?
Well, you're looking at the fact that how many runs did you as a team average?
Right.
And so you don't want to get too far behind and in a short series as such and feel that you're going to catch up, because everything's going to be different. You're not going to maybe pitch to a Tony Perez or Johnny Bench, and so somebody else has to do it. And that's the one thing that you have to have a guy in a RBI or clutch situation that wants to be there. Yeah. Don't force them to be there. And De La Cruz, I know he has like 79 or 81 RBIs, but still, I'll look back how many RBIs he had in an intense or pressure situation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but now because that guy, I like him. If he's driving 81 runs, leading off, that is great. Right. But how many runs did he leave on base, batting third
or yeah,
and no outs? So it's being in the right place, and we knew our role. And Sparky, make sure that you're in the right role in that lineup, because you have it's important. Not the most important part is how do you line up the guys. You have a good lineup, but how you line them up. Case in point, Griffey was batting 7th in the game 1 of the 75 series. And then I don't know who had a meeting or what, but now he's batting the second game. So now you have more speed up in front of the lineup, and the Reds have a tendency to have speed in a power situation. And it's like, I don't respect him. I'll pitch around this guy. Yeah. But you have a bench up, and you're looking on deck. There you have a Perez, and then you look in the hole. There's George Foster. Like, you got to decide on, pick your poison.
Yes. Yeah, you can't pass on everybody.
Yes. No, but Jim Palmer probably would. The reason I'm saying that, this guy, he brags about the fact I never did give up a grand slam. So if a Perez is up, the bases are loaded, he may walk in to get to a guy who's not a home run hitter.
Give up the run, but he didn't give up a grand slam.
Right, he didn't give up a grand slam.
That's funny. Yeah, and I can imagine if you're going to get in a game, if you're in a postseason game or even a World Series game, and you know that the average on your team is that you'll see 4 at-bats. You just know that your team generally gets through the lineup enough that you're going to get 3 to 4 at bats. Those 3 to 4 at bats are now way more intense than they were before the postseason. So that leads me to my next question: is, well, do you change your approach? Do you change what do you change about or do you change anything about your approach to the plate when you're in a postseason game?
Good example, my first at bat, I would take the first pitch just to make sure that I'm picking up the release point, and especially nobody on base. So what I had seen in the bullpen, I want to make sure I see on the mound. But now in a situation that men are on base, my first at bat, I'm not giving up that pitch. Mm-hmm. And so now it's putting more value on each pitch. And I say pitch compared to strike.
Right. Yeah.
If the ball is in my hitting zone, I'm swinging a bat. Yeah. And that's a big difference today. The guys are, number one, thinking too much about pitch count. Yes. And I tell them that when you go up to bat, wear one uniform, meaning that you're going to wear a uniform. You wear a uniform of the umpire or a uniform of the team. So you want to go up there and say, I'm gonna judge, okay, if it's a ball or strike. No, if it's in your hitting zone, swing the bat. Yeah. I see too many guys going back, shaking their head. That wasn't a strike. Yes. I said, no, it wasn't a strike, but you can hit that ball. Yeah. The bases are loaded. Swing the bat. Yeah. I don't want you just to walk. Swing the bat.
Yeah, because you got 3, maybe 4 at bats, and you got to make them count.
Right.
That's
there you go.
So there you go. Rick, as a coach, let's equate this to, okay, you've got a youth team. You're in a tournament situation. You guys have played 5-6 games in a weekend, and you're in game 5 or 6, and it's getting intense, and you're going to head into these last couple of games. How do you handle that differently than games earlier in the
I think a lot of it starts is preparing your kids during practice, because I think that some guys throw too many pitches during BP, like 12 or 15 pitches and stuff. And I always say, man, it's not a hitting marathon. You throw in BP, you get during live BP probably 7 to 8, and then when you get to situational hitting, you shrink it down, because now if you get in a whole lot of pitches during practice, when you come to a game, there's only about 3 to 4 good pitchers per at bat. So think about that. 3 to 4, you get 12 pitches. If you get 3, so now you got to narrow it down, and that'll help a kid really narrow it down to your approach. Okay, everything starts 0-0. Hunt that fastball.
Or give
man.
them a count.
Yes, you give them a count 1-0, and then you give them situationals, and you do that over again. Those kids will start gaining confidence.
Because they've done it before.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But you got to do that during practice, especially for the youth, because, again, they overthink. They're not at the level to where George was at or where I coached at. So you got to do that over and over again. So now when they get into a game, they just not overthinking. They being aggressive now.
Yeah.
You know?
Simulation.
Yes.
Especially for young kids who don't have experience in that situation all the time. You got to simulate that so when
Yes,
they are
you
in
do.
it, they feel a lot more
Yes.
prepared. No, that makes sense.
I just had a kid that, so one of the things that I do a lot during my live BP is I tell them, I'm going to make it difficult for you during our practice. So in the game, you'll understand what you're looking for. Yes, you're prepared. So I throw change-ups. I throw stuff because I think in today, everybody talks about velocity, and, you're looking for a fastball. But if I know that you're doing that as a pitcher, oh, man, I'm going to throw something off speed to you, man, to get you off, like George was saying, get you off on your front side a little bit, get you chasing. Now I got you. Now my fastball is going to be even better now because I threw that off speed to you.
But
yes.
Two things. One is which stands out is the approach.
Yes.
So what is your approach? And I teach, the numbers starting from you is 3, 2, 1 as far as your approach.
Yes.
But your bat actually going 1, 2, 3. So, but a lot of guys are going 1, 2, 3 on every count, and so now a ball that's inside, you may hit it, but it's going to go foul.
It's going to go foul.
But the ball that's outside, you're going to miss. So if you got to stay in the zone longer or in the count longer, going 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so that's very important. But the last one is coaches. It's important to put a kid in a situation that he can be successful.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well, let me ask you this. So let's talk about what I would consider advanced hitting skills. Things like bunting and, things like that. Do you find that in a postseason situation or in a last few games of the tournament situation, you're reaching for those advanced skills more than you would in another game, and so all the more important for them to know them?
That's why you got to do it in practice.
Yes.
Don't hold it back. It's another tool. I was laughing earlier because I had my first 5 guys that were bunting, and I heard somebody in the crowd said, "That's all you guys can do is bunt." I wanted to say it's been successful.
Yes.
But bunting not only helps you to learn how to bunt, but to see the ball.
Sure.
And I want a right-hander to be able to bunt to the opposite field so you can see the ball longer in the hitting zone.
Right.
Yes.
But a lot of guys thinking
Yes.
that, he's bunting, practicing bunting to bunt. No, practicing bunting to see the ball.
To see the ball.
It's going to help
Yes.
you become a better hitter.
It sure do. Because you're going to let the ball travel and you'll see the ball a lot better. Another thing is that I remember one of my son's coaches. We were supposed to be smashing this team, so they threw slow. Everybody hitting pop-ups.
Yeah.
He says, the next guy, we're going to bunt, though, every 1 through 9. And he said, if anyone swings, you see. Guess what? We came back. It worked. He said, whatever it is, I don't care if he gave you a sacrifice, a drag bunt, or push, or whatever it is, you got to execute it. We ended up coming back. I think we went through 9. Mark, man, he is a brilliant guy. And so we did that for an inning or 2. I think the next 2 to 3 innings, so he took it off. Everybody started hitting line drives. We run ruled the team.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Make the adjustment. Make a
Yes,
change.
we made the adjustment.
Because a lot of people's mindset is, we've talked about this before, a kid, or it could be any batter. I'm sure the pros go through this. Your mindset is, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to have the best at bat I can have. Well, and the best at bat I can have is to knock one out of here. And then less than that, and really until they start thinking, wait a minute, the best at bat I can have is what the situation calls for right now.
I like that.
So
Team.
I need
Right.
to put it over there,
Yes,
or I need
for
to
the
put it over there.
team.
I need to put it
Yes.
on the ground. I need to take as many as I can and try and see if I can draw a walk out of this guy. I need to do, whatever. So, what is that? What is the best at bat you can have, and when to try and get your players to start thinking about that, because when you get to those later games, you're in that postseason game, you're in that last tournament game, and you need to reach for those advanced skills. Man, if we haven't done that all year, you could be coming up dry going to the well for that.
Yeah. But
Yes,
that's
sir.
the situation will dictate what you need to do.
Yes, it does.
But you got to be prepared for it early. I mean, back in spring training. So you're doing it. They say, do what you need, what got you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep doing that all during the season, because to me, it's a weapon, the bunting, the hit, stealing. Because I said, once you get on first base, the first pitch you're going. I said, really? I said, you're going.
Yeah.
I don't care if they know that you're going, you're going. Or I'm going to bunt and run, or I'm going to hit and run, but I'm going to create more strategy or excitement out there.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is you can't use those advanced hitting techniques if there's nobody on base. It doesn't gain you anything. So, also being very cognizant of whatever it takes to get on base, watching for that drop third strike,
Yes.
taking off
Oh,
anyway.
yeah.
When you get it, when you get that single, you're not dogging it. You're hustling
Right.
everything you can get to first base. You'll do anything to get to the bag.
When you're on base, be prepared to advance.
To advance. Yeah.
So,
ball in the dirt.
A lot of, I was getting ready to comment on that.
Yes.
Stop reading my mind. So I tell the guys, especially at third base, look down in front of home plate. It will tell you where the direction of the ball. If it's going to be a ground ball, it's going to be a line drive. So at first base, it's going to be on the dirt. Be ready to advance to the next base. Don't wait till the ball is blocked away. You got to be there. I see McLean. I see guys who got good speed. They're still at. I said, what are you doing? If I'm the first base coach, I said, are you still here?
They ain't taking
Yeah.
secondary leads.
Right.
It ain't reading.
No, they're really having that fear of getting thrown out.
Yeah.
Another question I had is, how do managers coach a team differently in the postseason than they do in the regular season? Like what kind of things, you played for one of the greatest of all time, what kind of things might Sparky have done differently in the postseason than he would have during the regular season? Or was there anything?
Yeah, well, the main thing is the letting the pitcher in his mind said, I'm only giving that guy so many innings as far as pitching, and during the course of the season, so like a Freddie Norman, during his outing he's going to give up a home run. Just hopefully nobody's on base.
Like Tom Hume?
Yeah. And so, but maybe be able to get him out before that does happen. But also the fact that, okay, we have a 3 or 4 run lead, and here he is trying to pick somebody off. I want to let him know that run's not important. I want the guy at the plate to get him out. But these guys trying to pick somebody off at second base, they got 3 run lead and 2 outs. So go get the batter.
get the batter.
It's just making sure that you're knowing what you're doing out there and not creating momentum for the ball club. And maybe you're going to, like a Morgan, he knows, I'm like one of the smartest guys in the game. When he gets on base, he knowing that, they know I'm going, but I don't have any fear. I can make it there. I can get a good jump. So now he's still second. So it gives, now I don't have to hit a home run to drive him in. And then he knowing that Eric Davis made the statement, said, after you're still second, what's the next best pitch to go on? Everybody, he said the next pitch.
The next pitch,
Next pitch.
So being able to be aggressive on the bases, and I always talk about confidence help you to overcome the self-doubt.
Yeah.
But you got to go out there and give it a try. If you don't give it a try, you don't know if you can do it. But I'd say mainly with the pitching staff and pinch hitting, Sparky May in certain situations, but with the starting 8, who are you going to pitch hit for unless you want to fight? But
Would he have had more of a short leash for, guys out there and he just doesn't have it together and he's just not getting it? You're starting to see some errors bump, you're out.
Right. Well, if you have a ground ball pitcher hitting, the guys hitting fly balls, warm up, get everybody warm up, or tell the outfielders, make sure you're way back. So yeah, but the other one, we didn't have a DH before the 76
Right.
in the World Series. So now, who's going to pinch hit? When will you pinch hit for the pitcher? He may be pitching well, but we need those runs out there.
Right.
So being able to take him out, even though he's doing well, but we need those runs.
Would there have been a lot more of, okay, so I got to pinch hit for this guy, but that means I got to move 3 other guys around different places and doing a lot of that, or it's just mainly just a swap out?
It's a swap out because you have the bullpen was relief by committee.
Oh, okay.
So those guys, it's like lights out when they come out there, but knowing when to do it. But the main thing is like you have guys bases loaded and 2 outs. You want to pinch hit for that pitcher,
Right.
because you don't want to just give an out up.
Sure.
You give yourself a chance.
Yeah, that you've said that a couple of times today, and that is something that I was always taught when I was a kid that that I just don't see today is the just insistence on not giving up an opportunity. Like I
Right.
am going to make the most of every single opportunity. I am
Yes.
not going to sit down if I didn't go down swinging. You're not going to write a backwards K to
right.
my name. It's just
Exactly.
not
I
going
know.
to happen.
I
Yes.
know.
It's not going to
I don't know
happen.
if they have an incentive in their contract, how many strikeouts they can get by taking, but I don't know exactly. But I just guess that a manager can win or lose. After you win or lose 10 to 11 games, or 11 to 10, 10 to 11 games, they say how? Well, like the other night, the Reds were losing by 2 runs, man on first and second, bunt the guy over,
Right.
or hit and run, do something different to get those runners moving, and that put the batter or hitter into a batter runner into a successful situation to succeed. Pinch running from someone if he's on third base and he needs some speed there because a sacrifice fly. You don't want it to be. You don't want to be
thrown
so
out.
close.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So the grind of a postseason where you're just like, okay, this is something that is kind of unique to baseball players. And like, everything is a series. Everything is 5 games of this and 7 games of that. And so, going in that you're not going to have a champion at this level until we've played several games. And then you're going to go to the next level. You're going to play several games. Then you go to the World Series. You're going to play several games. And, how do you have were there any secrets to surviving that as a team, to keeping everybody together so that people aren't getting worn out by the postseason grind?
It starts with conditioning.
Yes.
And even during the course of the year, conditioning, because I'm not lifting heavy weights, but I'm lifting maybe 30 or 30-pound dumbbells.
Yeah.
But your body doesn't know how much weight you're lifting.
No, you sure
but
don't.
you got to still getting on that treadmill, getting on that bike. Keep doing those things that you were doing before, and your mind may tell you that you're tired, but you got to work through that because you're knowing what you need to do. But each game, focus on each game at a time, not looking at, we win best of 5, we will be fine. We lost the first 2, we'll be fine. Before you know it, you're going to be at home. So every game, we keep emphasizing every game, every at-bat, it's very important. Put value on that. So when you go out there, put it all out on the field. Don't try to save something for a next game.
Yeah, and I imagine if you see one of your teammates are struggling, they're coming apart, the grind's getting to them, they're having it, that's a especially necessary time for everybody to come around to kind of you pick them up a little bit and carry
it's
them forward.
more so talking. It's like how do you feel?
Right.
And like say in Joe's case, is my legs are sore, things as such. So I'm not trying to hit home runs, but I need to drive the ball in the gap, and not expecting just a base hit's going to drive him in, but by him just being on base, but the other team doesn't know that he's sore or he's hurt. By him being on base, I'm still going to get more fastballs to hit. So it's more of an urgency now. But in my case or Tony Perez's case, we swing at pitches that are in our zone. It doesn't have to be a strike zone. And some guys, they have to be there. It has to be a strike. And I see a lot of guys walking, but it's not always a strike for an umpire. I mean,
Yes.
a ball to an umpire
Yes.
he's going to call you out. So what do? you can't change his mind. Right. So go up there and be accountable, have quality at bats. Quality at bats is not just swinging at strikes, pitches in your strike zone or hitting zone. And in batting practice, I said, why didn't you swing at that? Well,
yes.
it wasn't a strike.
To be perfect.
Okay. Then I said, I'm going to put the hit and run on. Yeah. Make that guy swing at that pitch.
Yeah. So then, like Rick, let's segue back to working with young people now. So you got kids. They're naturally not going to be as mentally tough as professional baseball players who do this for a living. So how do you, as a coach, keep them together in those high pressure situations to make sure that it doesn't get to them and wear them down?
Practice. That's one of the main things. Practice, and a lot of things. Going back to what George was saying about doing, there was running poles and everything. Well, I used to do sprint work with our guys during practice. We'll, you know how the infield and the outfield kind of connects with the dirt and the grass around here. So of course they don't use a track. So we'll run those curves. I'll run 20 and 30-yard curves, man. We'll do that about 3 or 4 times. And then I tell the kids that, you know, on your own time, you work on that. So if you're doing, you know, you can do use dumbbells or you can do body weight, but I always emphasize doing sprint work. And because I know that if you're doing this, then you're gonna be a little bit more mentally tough than who we playing, because we're gonna be in more conditioned, and you know it's gonna show the way we run the bases, the way we hit the ball, our arms, and all of that. So that's where I would start off with, and that's how you build your mentality right there with your working out.
But the mental toughness is complemented by being physically ready.
Yes.
Because you know that I'm tight today. Why are you tight? Because you didn't loosen up.
You didn't loosen up. So you didn't stretch.
Back to what we said earlier, being prepared. Prepare yourself for that.
Yes.
And now you know that, okay, everything else is in order. Now just the mental aspect, I got to focus on the mental aspect. But what's back to what Greg was saying, the being able to be prepared for the situation. What does this situation call for? I don't need you to hit a home run. Just hit a fly ball.
Yes, exactly.
Ethan, you spent a lot of time as a pitcher in the later parts of your career, and you're in a tough game now. Now you're looking at maybe being a coach here before too long, and draw on your experience as a player and think toward being a coach. What do you think are important things to help keep your pitcher's head on and keep your pitchers together in a high pressure game like a postseason or an end tournament?
Well, I mean, a huge thing is having confidence in the players behind you. And I was not a strikeout pitcher by any means, and I played on a lot of teams. You know, I'm sorry if you also played on those teams, but I played on a lot of teams with not sure-handed fielders. So I'll put it nicely. I didn't have a lot of confidence, and unfortunately, I played on a lot of teams where there really wasn't another guy to go to. So I didn't really have a choice, which was fine. And I think I learned a lot of mental toughness through that, and knowing that at the end of the day, there's something bigger, and you know it's not the end of the world. But at the same time, you know, you got to be able to like you're saying, breathe and stay calm. Yes. But what I'm hearing more than anything is it's preseason preparation that really determines any of this. Preparation physically, mentally, strategically, that all of that. And when I look back on my playing career and how I would apply this, I played on a lot of teams that just were unprepared to be in tournaments. And so it's a shame to put it like this. I can't think of a tournament that I ever walked into with a team where we went, yeah, we could win this, which means we shouldn't have been there.
Right.
And not to say that we could never play tournaments, but why would you play in a tournament that you don't think you can win? Right. If you don't think you can win, then step back and prepare. Yes. And so I played a lot of games that lacked intensity and lacked confidence because we just shouldn't have been there. We just weren't ready. Maybe we could have been if we had prepared more. But that's what I'm taking away from this is the emphasis on, well, I put a star next to mindset because that matters.
Yes.
But that goes hand in hand with self-awareness of yourself and your team.
Yeah,
You have to be realistic of where you are to know if you can be there or not.
Yes.
So that's what I go back to is, if I coach in the future, there's so much more emphasis that needs to be put on even before the season starts in that off season. And then you just got to be real with yourself. And if you're not there, that's fine. Not everyone is going to be there, so quickly. Yeah. So figure out where you are and how to get better from there, rather than just constantly banging your head against the tournament dugout, thinking that that's where you're supposed to be and you're not.
Yeah, I have to, Ethan is spot on with that. And as I've gotten older, I'm starting to see a lot of stuff, man, that maybe kids aren't at this level, okay?
Yeah.
And it's okay if they're at this level. And for me as a coach, because I've been in real travel baseball, I played at this level. I mean, we coached at this level. This is all I knew, okay? But when I started MD&I start to see that the kids are at this level. There's so much pressure put on them, and at all levels, that I think parents and as a coach, you got to really come back and circle back around and get your ego out of the way. And it's like, hey, maybe your team, maybe they're at this level, and that's okay. That's okay. But you have to, but if you're going to, what I've found out that you have to have a philosophy to develop them to get to to that level. Okay. And if those kids buy into what you're selling, they're going to do it at home. They're going to do it on their own time. And then that's how you're going to circle back around and kids buy in, and then you'll see them getting better.
Well, and the other thing is, getting them to a higher level may very well take more than one season.
Yes.
So you have to have the ability
Yes.
to hold your team together. You
Yes.
can't have it fall apart at the end of every season.
But one thing, as a coach or a manager, I would not tolerate is lack of hustle, because it doesn't take talent to hustle.
No.
So you may make a mental or physical error, but if you're not hustling, you're coming out of the game. Because I said, I didn't take you out; you took yourself out.
Yeah.
And so, but it's going to let the other kids know that that's not going to be tolerated, and that's the number one thing. You got to hustle when you're on the field. Being on time is also important, but we got to hustle out there.
Yeah, and I kind of along the lines of what you're saying is that players are just at different levels. And
Yes.
if you were to take snippets out of any given podcast, I think you could deduce that we hate tournaments, and that's not necessarily true.
No, it's not.
There's a difference between a well-prepared team who is ready to win a tournament and a team who's just doing it because everybody else does it. Yeah. Every time I played a Flames team, they expected to win that game every single time. That is one of the few organizations around here that hasn't been watered down. There's just an expectation, and yeah, I don't know. I just played on teams that weren't ready, and I think that we just need to prepare more.
Even beyond that, every time you played a Flames team, we all expected that they would win that game. That's the thing. Like, they were so successful. Yeah. Everybody expected they would win that game.
Back to that word, mindset.
Yes.
But I use tournaments as a test to see how much they've grown.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so I think there's a place for it, because I mean, like 3, 5, 7 game series, it's not really realistic at the youth level. So there is a place for that, especially if you want to see how you measure up. Yeah. And if you're good enough and you're going to practice 2 and 3 times a week, and you're good enough to seriously compete in a tournament every weekend, sure, by all means, whatever.
Right.
But I just don't see that in the majority of teams out there, and I can 100% say that was not the case for any team I ever played on.
Yeah. Ethan is more than my podcast partner. He's my son. And like every baseball parent, my first priority was his development as a player. Every year, we'd start out with a new coach and a new team, making new promises, only to end up playing the same old tournaments with little to no practice in between. You know what I'm talking about. That's why I'm so thankful that we found MD&I Academy. I first met Coach Rick over a decade ago when Ethan was just a kid, and I'll never forget the relief I felt watching his first lesson. I knew right then that no matter what team he played for, my son would have amazing, consistent instruction from someone who cared. Rick has trained baseball and softball players at the select, travel, and even college levels, so I knew that Ethan could continue his excellence through training approach for his whole baseball career. He learned hitting, pitching, catching, fielding, and more all in one place. Most of all, he learned to love the greatest game in the world and how to play it with character and integrity. So if you're wearing yourself out running all over town to multiple teachers, or worse, you're counting on that new select coach to actually develop your child, you need to check out MD&I Academy today. Go to mdaiacademy.com and contact Coach Rick to learn how you can get all the baseball instruction you need from someone who cares about your favorite player as much as you do at MD&I Academy. All right, so we're going to wrap up today with just a little bit of postseason fun. Got a little who's the hero today. And we're gonna see what you guys know about postseason stuff.
We got to put another trivia whooping on George here.
Yeah, we gotta see if,
No, I was in second.
Man.
That was
see if George can catch up. Now, a lot of this is stuff that happened when either George was young and watching baseball or George was playing baseball. So a lot of this is before us. So
Do we get a head start?
no,
Can I get like
that
a
just means
2-point head
George
start?
might
Handicap?
have a little bit of an advantage here.
I give you 0 to start.
All right. All right.
All right, so we're going to talk about postseason. I've just picked several fun facts, and we're going to see what everybody knows. So, number one, who threw the only, and there's only been one, who threw the only World Series
Don
perfect
Larson.
game? He did.
Don Larson.
In
You're
Major League
late, you're
Baseball
late.
here.
Everybody knew that one.
Don Larson with the Yankees, 1956. Against whom?
Was it
Dodgers.
the Dodgers?
The Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Okay, so I warmed you up easy.
Oh, I thought that was.
No, it was a little,
I know.
no,
Everybody
that was
should
a
have
little,
got
that was a little sprint pole to pole there, buddy.
Now, are we doing a who answers first?
No.
I think you have to, otherwise George is just going to like spontaneously combust over there.
All right.
That'd be
all right.
good.
I want some duct tape for.
Do you want a Red Bull first?
Yeah, give me a Red Bull. Come on, come on.
All right, here we go. How many postseason no-hitters have been thrown in Major League Baseball history?
5.
1.
Yeah, I'll go with one.
3.
Oh.
Okay. Nobody.
1 was Don Larson
Yeah.
Oh,
in
yeah.
1956.
Yeah.
Who were the other 2?
said
what's the?
they're
It's
recent.
was it another? Okay.
It was
recent.
a Philly.
They're during Ethan's lifetime.
Oh.
Actually, they're during when you would have been watching baseball and knowing what's going on.
That's a good one.
I don't keep stats of pitchers.
2010.
2010.
Was it the Reds involved?
Oh,
Nope.
he's a Diamondback.
NLDS. 2010.
Was it Madison Bumgarner?
Nope.
Nah, he's a.
You
it's
call
a
out this guy all
Diamondback.
the time.
Diamondback.
A Diamondback. Who?
Arizona Diamondback.
Roy Halladay.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, yeah.
Holiday.
Toronto
Yes.
Blue Jays.
He's one of Ethan's
Yes.
favorites. That's
I
why.
know.
Oh, was it the
Yeah,
Blue
but-
Jays?
And then,
Toronto.
yeah, and then the last one was not one person, but
Oh, a
the
team.
the Houston Astros combined for
Oh, yeah,
one
they
in
did.
2022
Mm.
in the World Series.
That doesn't count.
All right, there have been 16 World Series walk-off home runs in Major League history, but only 2 have ended the entire series. Who hit them?
Carter.
Nope. Yes. Which Carter?
Joe.
President
Or,
Carter. No.
Not Joe.
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 Yeah, it was
Joe Carter.
Yeah.
What?
So point for
half-
each.
half
Point
a
for
point.
each.
No,
other.
I
There you
said
go.
Carter.
Split
You
that in
did,
half.
yeah.
half.
You didn't
Okay.
say name. Is give
Joe
his full
Carter in
name.
1993. Blue Jays versus Phillies.
And
And then probably the best known walk-off of all time.
I know it was in the 50s. Bobby.
Nope, it wasn't
No.
Bobby Thompson.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't the World Series.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was the playoffs. My fault.
Ended the World Series.
It had to be Kirk Gibson.
But second baseman in the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh, yes, Bill Mazeroski.
Yeah.
You didn't get his name.
I'm giving that to Rick.
Yes, Bill
1960.
Bill Mazeroski,
against the
1960s
Yankees.
against the Yankees.
No,
there you go.
The
Look at you,
Yankees,
man.
The Yankees.
Look at you.
Yes.
All right. How many straight steals, and we're talking straight steals now, how many straight steals have there been in World Series games in Major League history?
I wasn't one of them, so I don't know.
I'm going to give.
Straight
Let me
steals.
ask
Man.
it.
What do you mean straight?
Let me ask
That's
it this
gotta
way.
be-
Let me ask it this way. There have been 5. There have been 5 straight steals of home.
Oh, home.
Oh,
5
no.
guys who had a straight steal of
So
home.
one has got to be
in World
Jackie
Series history.
Robinson.
Yeah, can you name them? Jackie Robinson is one, 1955.
World
Yes.
Series.
Willie McGee.
Willie McGee, no.
Coleman.
No.
Give me Ricky Henderson
Ricky-
for at least one of them.
Nah.
Yeah, Ricky Anderson didn't show up on this list at all.
Lou Brock.
Nope. One guy did it twice, but that was in the 20s.
Oh, was it Eric
Rod
Davis?
Carew.
No.
He wasn't in the World Series.
No.
Eric.
Okay, let me give you some years. Okay, these are all old. That's
Okay.
why. These are old. You guys are way
Oh, was it Ty Cobb?
Yes, Ty Cobb did it in 1909.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. 1909.
Man, I seen that. That was a fuzzy.
George
that's
was just
fuzzy-
a boy. Yeah. And then these other guys, I had never even heard of them. So one guy did it twice in 1921 and 1928. His name was Bob Musil,
No.
and I had never heard. I had never heard. Of him.
Mucinex, but not Mucinex.
Okay, and then one was Monty Irvin in 1950.
Oh, Monty,
Oh,
yeah.
Monty Irvin.
Yeah.
Was he with Cleveland?
Could be.
Monty Irvin?
I don't
Or
remember.
Dodge or Giants.
Giants.
Yeah.
And then one was a
Giants,
guy
that's what I
named
think.
Mike McNally in 1921. So those are the guys who had
That's
straight.
not-
steals.
Dave
There.
McNally's dad.
I told you, I gave you this. I gave you the pole-to-pole sprint early on, man. These things, there's some intense stuff.
It's just-
All right, here's an easy
I
one.
should have 2. They got a half from Ethan.
Here's an easy one. What team has scored the most
Oh, Yankees.
postseason runs? Yeah, in Major League
That's
Baseball
easy.
history.
Why'd you hesitate? What team?
That was good.
What team?
Okay, what manager has won the most postseason wins in Major League history?
Blah, 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 blah.
Joe Torre.
You got it.
Oh,
Joe Torre. Yeah,
Yankees.
Yeah.
yeah. He has 84 wins in the postseason.
Yes, man.
That's pretty good. All right, we only got about 3 more here. Let's
Okay,
see what we
okay.
got. Okay. What team has lost the most postseason games in Major League
Buffalo
history?
Bill. Oh.
Yeah.
Kansas City Royals.
Nope.
Is it also the Yankees?
It is also the Yankees.
my God.
They have scored the most runs. They have won the most games in the
lost
postseason,
them,
and they have
man.
lost the most.
Because they played the most.
'Cause they
Yeah,
played
they
the
lost
most,
184 games in the postseason.
That's terrible.
Okay, here we go. 4 players are tied for the most World Series MVP awards.
I'll be Reggie Jackson.
Okay,
Yeah, I was gonna.
Reggie Jackson's one of them, but let me. So 4 players are tied for the most MVP awards. Okay, so they all have the same. What is that number, first of all?
Gotta be
7, 8,
3
11.
probably.
Each one
Yeah,
of them got the MVP how many times? Like, what are they tied at? You're going with 3?
3. I'm gonna go with 3.
Yeah, that's what I'll go with 3.
3, yeah.
It's 2.
Ah.
2.
It's 2. Okay. Can you name them? 1 is Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson.
There's 3
yeah.
more.
Mickey Mantle.
And these are
Yeah.
these are prime era guys.
Corey Seager.
Corey Seager is the second one.
Oh yeah, that's right. With the Dodgers and with Texas, right?
Yeah, he's the man.
So Reggie Jackson, Corey Seager. There's 2 more, and these guys are
Murray.
major legends.
He said
Mariano?
Mickey Mantle.
Derek Jeter.
Babe Ruth.
Okay, I'll give you.
You
There are
said
Lou Gehrig.
Is Mariano
Luke, I was
one of
about to say Lou Gehrig.
No.
What's Mariano?
nope. These are classic era guys. These are guys who played just before George or during George.
them?
Oh.
Wouldn't be
Kirk?
Joe Morgan.
No. Oh, no, that was.
They're both pitchers.
Oh,
Nolan. No.
no,
Wouldn't be
no,
Nolan.
no, no,
Don
no,
Drysdale,
no.
Sandy
For the
Koufax.
Orioles.
Sandy Koufax is 1.
Orioles.
That's 3.
Jim Palmer.
It's not Jim Palmer.
No, not Jim. It's a pitcher.
Pitcher. Is he ambidextrous?
He was a Cardinal.
Bob Gibson.
He was Bob
I
Gibson.
got knocked you guys
Good
out.
job.
Mama gonna
Good
knock
job.
you out.
Good job.
All right. So this one, what pitcher pitched 3 times and threw 2 shutouts in 1 World Series?
Benny McClain. No.
He pitched in
Mickey
3,
Lolich.
3 games in the series,
Bob Gibson.
and 2 of them were shutouts.
I thought he said shut up.
I want to say Sandy Koufax.
You would be right if you did.
But he didn't say it.
I don't remember which game it was. I don't remember which year it was. I didn't write it down. But
Had to
he pitched,
be
let me
against
think.
it was in the 60s.
60s, yeah.
Minnesota.
He pitched game 2, game 5, and game 7.
yes.
And game 5 and 7 were shutouts.
Is that the
You
series
know what
that he didn't pitch on
college
Sunday?
he went to?
Because he's Jewish.
You see,
Yes, UC.
You know what position he played?
Pitcher.
First base.
Yeah, it was a first baseman at
Really?
UC.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
All right, the last one. Who threw 8, can you believe it,
2/3.
complete games, including 3 in 1 World Series? So he threw 8 complete World Series games, including 3 in 1 series in 1968.
Bob
For
Gibson.
81 total innings
Yeah.
in multiple World Series. Bob Gibson.
Yep. The Bob.
Wow.
That single stat just blew my mind.
That's crazy.
The man
man
threw 8
Yes.
complete
What-
World Series
Just
games.
nobody hit when he pitched. That's the excuse.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, what is it? Were they intimidated? Could they not
Yes.
see it? What
Yeah,
was it?
Yeah,
They were
was
intimidated, so they didn't see it.
Okay.
Because he would come inside on you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
wonder what his fastball was back then.
I just
probably.
know it, the location. He would put one underneath your chin, then a slider away. Because when we played the Astros, they had Don Wilson, Larry Durker, the guys who threw hard. And Willie Mays and those guys said, you can think out there, but don't go out there. And so that means that don't look out there because the next pitch is going to be up and in. So we had a guy say, we're not going to. They defied what they said. So he looked out there and the guy hit him right in the forehead.
Oh my goodness.
So he looked like a unicorn.
Bob Gibson never threw less than 8 innings in a World Series appearance.
That is
It goes
crazy,
8,
man.
10, 9, 9, 9, 9,
Isn't that
9.
crazy?
He was the starter and relief.
Had a record of 7-2 with an ERA of 1.89 with
That guy could
92
compete.
Yes, he
strikeouts.
I mean, you talk about absolute
This is
toughness.
where
That's a good season for a reliever just in the World Series.
Yeah. So that's
I wish we
lights
could go
out
back
there.
and find out, like, okay, what was your workout regimen for keeping your arms sound like that? You know, that's the key.
Well,
seriously,
go back with those
how
guys,
much
Drysdale,
rest?
Koufax,
Yes.
of course Gibson, all those guys who threw in those days. How did they recover?
Yeah, how did they cover compared
Koufax
to
barely did,
today?
but
Yeah,
Because I always say that if you go back to the past, it could help us with the future, man.
they don't want to rely on the past.
That's the sad part about it,
They
man.
think
That's
they know
history.
it. Yeah.
You take a guy like Bob Gibson, like the other thing I'm wondering is part of his dominance, much like Nolan Ryan, you know that you can go out there and face him in the first inning, and you can go out there and face him in the 7th inning or the 8th inning, and he's still going to be tough. Like, you're not worried about, okay, if we get him to the 7th or 8th, he's
Right.
going to start coming apart, and then we
Yeah,
can hit
right.
him.
No.
Like, he
Well,
was still
No,
dominant late
you got to
in the
get
game.
him. If you're gonna get him, you got to get him early.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. The new thought process is don't let them turn the lineup over because guys have seen you on. Okay, I get that. That makes logical sense. But then apply that to the past. It didn't matter.
No.
So regardless of what you think is a better option to let them pitch or to pull them early, regardless of what you think is better, those guys were throwing all those innings in spite of the fact that they were facing the same guys 3 and 4
Yes.
times in a game.
Yes.
That's impressive.
Yes.
But another-
at the minimum.
Plus is that you had guys who were coaching that had played the game. So now you bring in a pitching coach. The best pitching coach is the guy who was
That's
a catcher.
done it right. That
Because
was
he's
the
on both
catcher.
sides.
Yeah.
Been the batter and been the catcher. So I saw the other day, they were throwing McLean fastballs up and away, 2 fastballs up and away. He didn't even touch it. Then guess what? He threw him a breaking ball inside, got a base hit down left field line. So they're trying to get too smart. Just go with what you see that he can't do.
Yeah, that's that. As I was looking through these stats, I was just blown away.
No, I didn't.
How many times Bob Gibson's name comes up for one?
It's crazy.
And just how unbelievably dominant he was. You know, for as amazing a career as Nolan Ryan had, when you start looking at World Series stats, he doesn't show up very often because he wasn't on a lot of World Series teams.
No.
He was a guy out there, you know, holding it down, getting it done on his own.
It's like Mario Soto.
Yeah. Well, very much
Right.
like that. So, you know, but Bob
Losing
Gibson had the
1-0
fortune
games.
to be on world-class caliber teams
Yeah.
with those Cardinals teams. And yet, so he made the most of every opportunity he had. And my God, he shows up all the time.
I think they were in 11. They won 11.
Could be. I don't know.
Yeah, I was talking to when the Cardinals were in. I said, how many did you guys win? 7? He said, nope, won 11.
Wow.
So, I mean, but we look at what the Yankees have done, then the Cardinals have done.
Yeah. Well, you know, the Yankees just, my gosh.
But
And the Dodgers.
But with Steinbrenner and probably guys before then, is that their mindset, we're going to win. We got to get whatever players we need, we're going to win.
Yes.
We'll buy a team.
Yeah.
And
well,
they
I mean,
still have that mindset too.
and that's the other thing I'm thinking.
But
like,
they don't know how to go out and get the players now. They
not
don't get
now.
the quality. You have guys on the Yankees. They're not intimidating like before.
Well, I'm thinking like, you know, okay, so let's go back to young George Foster, who in L.A., growing up as a kid, and your hometown team has Don Drysdale and Sandy Koufax, and you know, I mean,
Maury Wells.
And more.
But I knew their mindset was good pitching, good defense, and speed.
Yeah.
So Maury Wills get on base, or Junior Gilliam get on base, score one or
Gilliam.
2 runs, the game's over.
I'm just so envious because I wasn't around. I never got to see Sandy Koufax throw. And that I can imagine it was just amazing to have him pitch for your home team. Like, I mean, how cool was that?
But the mechanics, he was so fine tuned, just like with Tom Seaver. You know, you can see, he can repeat that mechanic over and over again. And then and Koufax, I don't have a curveball today. Okay, I rely on the fastball.
Just
Dominating. Then you have Drysdale coming behind you, and if you're a right-handed hitter, that ball is going to tail in, sometime on purpose. Then you throw that slider away. Like, I always hope that if I strike out, it'd be the 3rd out. This is back to that dugout.
Level swing. Let it travel. Wait for your pitch. Be aggressive out there. It's no wonder young players get confused at the plate. What if your son or daughter could learn not only how to hit the ball, but also where to hit it, when to hit it there, and why? George Foster has played baseball at the very highest levels. He was the National League MVP when he hit 52 home runs and 149 RBIs in a single season. He led the major leagues in home runs twice and RBIs 3 times. He was a 5-time All-Star, a Silver Slugger, and he helped the Reds win back-to-back World Series. During his 15-year career, George developed a unique approach to hitting that made him one of the greatest hitters of all time, and now your favorite player can learn it too. That's right, baseball legend George Foster is currently accepting new students. Learn the psychology of hitting, situational hitting, hitting for power, bunting, and more. Every team needs players who can hit, and George explains the game in a way that's easy to understand and exciting to learn. So check out GeorgeFosterBaseball.com to learn how you can apply for private lessons with a member of the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. Spots are limited, and the roster will fill up fast, so don't wait. Apply at GeorgeFosterBaseball.com. Well, thanks for joining us for our little romp through the pro season here. Hopefully we've shared some things that you found interesting, and more than anything, I just appreciate you being here. I know the guys do too, week after week, and hopefully you can maybe leave us a comment, leave us a 4-star review, 5 stars, whatever the stars are now.
5 stars.
And mainly tell somebody, share it with somebody else. And we're trying to get the word out about the podcast and reach as many people as possible. So anything you can do to help, we appreciate it. Again, there are websites for everybody. There's mdniacademy.com, georgefosterbaseball.com, glovehound.com. You can find us on all of those. You can also find the podcast on completegamepodcast.com and every place that you can listen to podcasts, Apple and Spotify and Amazon and all those places. So hopefully you'll enjoy that and you'll keep coming back, and we'll see you next week for another discussion on the Complete Game Podcast.
Yeah. All right.
We hope you've enjoyed the Complete Game Podcast, the show that's all about baseball. New episodes drop each week, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. If you'd like to support the podcast, consider leaving us a 5-star rating, or better yet, drop us a comment or a question and let us know what you think. The Complete Game Podcast is produced and distributed by 2 Creative Digital Marketing. Check us out at 2creativedigital.com. On behalf of Ethan, Coach Rick, and the Silver Slugger George Foster, I'm Greg Dungan saying have a great week, and we'll see you real soon.